You've said the word hundreds of times. Semi-truck. You've been next to one on the highway, cut off by one merging onto the interstate, stuck behind one going uphill. Maybe you've been in a truck stop parking lot surrounded by them. You've used the word your entire life. But here's a question most people can't answer. What does semi actually mean? Not what kind of truck it is, not how heavy it is. The word itself, semi. What is it referring to? Most people, if you push them, will say something like big, heavy duty, commercial grade, industrial, highway class, and all of that is completely by one wrong. Semi does not describe the engine. It does not describe the cab. It does not describe the driver or the size or anything powered. The answer is hiding in the trailer, the unpowered part dragging behind. And once you know it, the word semi starts to sound like a polite way of saying the trailer is broken, or rather, deliberately incomplete. The surface answer takes about 10 seconds to understand, but the reason that incomplete design became the most important freight innovation of the 20th century, and why 73% of everything in America now moves on a vehicle most people cannot correctly name, that is the part nobody tells you. Let's start with what everyone gets wrong. When most people hear the phrase semi-truck and actually stop to think about it, they assume that semi is describing the truck. Something about its size, or its classification, or the sheer industrial weight of the thing. Semi as in serious. Semi as in substantial. Semi as in not the kind of vehicle you want to be next to on an icy bridge. That assumption is wrong. The cab, the front section with the engine, the driver, the exhaust stacks, has its own name. Engineers and the federal government call that front section the tractor. The word semi refers to the trailer. Specifically, the technical designation of the trailer being pulled is a semi-trailer. When you add that trailer to the tractor, the full official name of the vehicle combination is a semi-trailer truck. Most people have spent their whole lives calling the thing by a single word that technically refers only to the unpowered box being dragged behind the engine. So fine. The trailer is the semi. But why is it called that? Here's where most people who've gotten this far stop. They feel like they have the answer. Semi means the trailer. Got it. Move on. But that's not the answer. That's just the location of the answer. The actual answer is what semi is describing about the trailer, and that's the part that sounds, at first, like a design flaw that somehow nobody fixed. Semi is a Latin prefix. It means half. A semicircle is half a circle. A semicolon is half a stop. A semi-trailer is, by that same logic, half a trailer. And the reason it's called half a trailer is because it is, structurally, an incomplete object. Think about a regular trailer, the kind you hitch to a pickup truck for a camping trip, or the kind you see in pairs on a double trailer rig. A full trailer has axles at both ends, wheels up front, wheels in the back. It can hold itself up, unhook it from whatever is pulling it, and it sits on the ground, level, stable, self-supporting. It is a complete object. A semi-trailer has axles only at the rear, nothing up front. If you were to unhook a semi-trailer from its tractor and just set it down, the front end would drop straight to the ground. It has no front wheels. It cannot support its own forward weight. Without the tractor, it is not a functional trailer. This sounds like a significant problem. Why would you build a trailer that needs another vehicle to hold it up? Why would this design win out over the self-supporting full trailer? Why would engineers choose to build something structurally dependent, half a trailer, and then put 45,000 pounds of cargo in it? The answer is not what you expect, because the thing that makes a semi-trailer incomplete is also the thing that makes it dramatically better than a trailer that can support itself. And the person who figured that out wasn't an engineer. He was a blacksmith in 1914. And he was building something to haul a boat. In 1914, a Detroit area lumber merchant named Frederick Sibley had a specific problem. He wanted to haul his boat from Detroit to northern Michigan. He went to a local fabricator, a man named August Charles Fruehauf, and asked him to build something that could do it. Fruehauf's solution was simple, and in retrospect, revolutionary. He built a wheeled platform and attached it to the back of a Ford Model T. The front of the platform did not rest on its own axle. It rested on the rear of the car itself. The car bore the weight. The wheels only existed at the rear of the platform. That was the first semi-trailer. Fruehauf was not trying to invent a new freight paradigm. He was trying to haul one man's boat. But he recognized almost immediately that what he had built had commercial implications far beyond recreational watercraft. He refined the design, patented elements of it, and founded the Fruehauf Trailer Company, which would eventually become the largest trailer manufacturer in the world. Here is the engineering insight that made it work. When the tractor bears the front weight of the trailer through the coupling point, two things happen. First, the entire rig can articulate. It can bend in the middle. A rigid full trailer of the same length cannot turn as tightly because the geometry forces wide arcs. A semi-trailer bends around the coupling point, making a 53-foot trailer maneuverable in ways a rigid structure cannot. Second, the trailer can exist completely independently of any tractor. Its rear sits on its axles. Its front rests on retractable legs, landing gear, added to the design by Fruehauf's successors. You can load a semi-trailer while it is disconnected from any truck, parked at a dock, sitting on its own legs. One tractor can drop a loaded trailer, immediately hook up to a different loaded trailer, and drive away. The trailer does not wait for the tractor. That capability, called drop and hook, is now the operational heart of modern freight logistics. It exists because the trailer is missing its front axle. The incompleteness was the feature, but the coupling that makes all of it physically possible, the device that transfers the trailer's forward weight to the tractor, was named after something that has not existed since horse-drawn carriages, and that name is still on every truck on every highway today. The horseshoe-shaped plate mounted on the tractor's rear frame, the thing the trailer locks onto, is called the fifth wheel. That name is everywhere in trucking. It is in regulations, inspection checklists, driver training manuals. Everyone in the industry uses it without thinking about it. But it is a strange name. Trucks have many wheels: the front steer wheels, the drive wheels, and the trailer wheels. A standard 18-wheeler has exactly 18 of them. So why is this coupling plate, which is not a wheel, does not rotate, and carries no load to the ground, called the fifth? The name is borrowed from horse-drawn carriage engineering. A four-wheeled wagon needed its front axle to pivot when turning. If the front axle rotated freely, it would fight the rigid frame above it and eventually stress it to failure. The solution, refined through the 1700s and the 1800s, was a fifth wheel, a flat, horizontal disc mounted beneath the front axle that allowed the axle to turn freely without twisting the body of the carriage above it. The disc sat between the axle and the frame, providing a pivot that separated steering motion from cargo motion. When motorized vehicles began towing trailers in the early 20th century and needed a coupling mechanism that could both bear enormous weight and allow rotation between tractor and trailer, the concept transferred directly. The technology changed completely. The rotating disc became a large fixed plate with a kingpin lock, but the name, fifth wheel, stayed. It was already what engineers called a load-bearing pivot coupling. The vocabulary was already there. And so the semi-trailer locked onto the fifth wheel, the tractor bore the forward weight of the half-trailer, and the design that Frederick Sibley's boat accidentally inspired spread across an entire continent. By the time the interstate highway system was built in the late 1950s and 1960s, the semi-trailer was already the dominant commercial freight vehicle in America. The highways were built around it. The loading docks were built for it. The entire logistics infrastructure of modern retail was designed assuming it. Now here's where all of it comes together. You have been saying semi-truck your entire life. You meant the big rig, the 18-wheeler, that thing taking forever to merge. But here's what the word actually describes. A trailer that is deliberately missing its front axle, designed that way so the tractor can bear its forward weight, so the rig can articulate around the coupling point and turn tighter than any rigid trailer of the same length, so the trailer can be dropped at a loading dock, loaded independently, and picked up by a different tractor without waiting for the original one to return. A design that sounds like a limitation and turned out to be the foundational logistics innovation of the 20th century, invented by a blacksmith building a boat hauler, named with a Latin prefix meaning half, coupled to its tractor by a device named after a carriage component from the 1800s that no longer exists. You were not calling it a big truck, you were calling it an incomplete trailer. And the incompleteness was the whole point. 73% of everything that moves in America, every piece of produce in your grocery store, every prescription at your pharmacy, every box on your doorstep, rides in something whose name is technically describing the absence of two wheels. Next time you are stuck behind one on the highway, you will know exactly what you are looking at. And if you think the naming conventions in trucking are strange, wait until we get into why the distance between axles on every commercial truck in America has to satisfy a formula originally designed to protect bridges built in the 1800s.